We've closed entries for tonight's giveaways, okay? But we're back at Dolor Factor Live. Now, if you have any questions, this is the time for you to call, all right? Anything that is related to tonight's topic that you think that we haven't said, please feel free to give us a call. When we were talking earlier, one thing came to my mind, and that is, if we have to love ourselves, we have to learn from our experiences. And I find that a lot of people, they leave relationships and they enter other ones without finding out what went wrong in the other relationship. They want to blame the other person, but they don't want to look at what they did to contribute to the situation. And if you can honestly look at yourself and how you perform in relationships, then in your next relationship, when you see that little sign that you're doing something wrong or your partner is doing something that you don't like, you can put a stop to it there and then, instead of accepting it. Now, our last caller said something as well that I wanted to touch on, and that is the fact that sometimes people remain in relationships because they think of their partner's past. They think, well, my partner was abused. My partner didn't understand love. My partner is behaving like this because his father never said he loved him. So I have to stay because I have to teach him, to show him that he must be able to tell his children that he loves them. They think all these things because they're trying to look after their partner.
And themselves.
Yeah, and they're not looking after themselves. They're trying to look after their partner. But if their partner is in this place already and they're not receptive to that, you know, you're not doing them a favor. And another thing about us in relationships, a lot of the time, my partner could tell me something, and Pamela, you and I might talk, and then you tell me the same thing, okay, that my partner said, and I will listen to you before I even listen to my partner.
That's right.
And a lot of us, we do that.
Yes.
Now let's go back to the phones. Thank you for calling Dolor Factor Live. Okay, well, what we'll do is we're going to, let me see if I can put this for you. So thank you for holding. Welcome to Dolor Factor Live.
Good night, Divya and your guests. It's a very interesting program.
Good night.
Just one contribution pertaining to a few persons who called about saying that some persons because of financial needs in a relationship. I just want to go back to the family and how we raise our children and to teach them very early to live within their means. Because right now it's really a material world where everybody wants everything, the big car, the big house, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm saying that even if we say that some people say there's no education, there are lots of programs these days, the skill training program, or we could teach our children, okay, maybe you didn't do well at CXC, but there are other means out there, and encourage our young people, because I think the excuse about saying there's no money, it's really not a good thing. We could start somewhere. We don't always get it right away, but then little by little we'll make it. That's my contribution.
A very good contribution.
Okay, Pastor, would you like to comment on that for me, please?
Yeah, I think basically.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, somebody, she's right, because sometimes a person might just say, well, there's nothing's happening, I cannot do this. And like we were saying a while ago, they need to step out. They need to be able to look at, listen, you can do something differently if you plan properly, if you take some time to think. Because sometimes people just don't think. They're in a situation and they think they are paralyzed and boxed in that situation. But if you take some time to think and say, listen, what can I do different? And even if you can go on to find advice, like you were saying a while ago, call somebody, find somewhere, find some advice, get some feedback, get somebody give you a different perspective on something, on the situation.
Yeah.
And so you can now do, take a position, a step, very constructive, very a proper step, but with results that would bring you to a place where you will not be in a worse situation. But at this point, you need to take a step. So I don't to resolve and just say, well, listen, I cannot do nothing about the situation. It's not good enough. I think somebody needs to realize, listen, and with the help of even faith in God, and we were talking about faith in God, with the help of trusting and letting God help you through the process, praying about it sometimes, and also finding the counseling, you will be able to get some headway in what you need to do.
Okay. All right. But, you know, we talk about headways, we talk about, I think it's one thing we're sitting here and we're telling people. I think because time is of the essence right now, I know sometimes I can get quite passionate, as I did earlier in the break.
Passionate too.
And yes. So Pam, I want, how would you try to encourage someone to remove themselves from a place where they don't want to be in?
I think people need to take time with self. Take time with self. You understand? Love yourself. Foundation. Starts with you. Everything that happens to you starts with you. What are you contributing to the relationship? Right? Is it positive or negative? Take time with self. Don't jump into another relationship. Take time with self. Ask yourself questions. We need to do that. We need to take time with self. And that's my contribution. We need to take time with self.
And unfortunately, this is when things like this happen, and I say unfortunately because when we are down, that's when some people who aren't involved in any kind of religion, that's when they want to turn to it. But I want to go to a call, and then I'd like to talk about that religion aspect. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Hello, thank you for being on Dolor Factor Live tonight.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm always enjoying your program.
Thank you so much.
On the question of relationships, I think one of the one of your hosts, one of your people guests just said, sorry, that you have to know yourself, and a lot of people enter relationships feeling insecure, like they need somebody to wake up to, they need somebody next to them on the pillow, or they need somebody to hold their hands, they need somebody. You have to know yourself, most importantly, before you can actually share yourself with somebody else. And one of our biggest problems in the Caribbean is that we don't have strong family relationships. So people grow up not knowing themselves, not knowing their capabilities, they not knowing what it is to share, to care. And it starts off in the family where people can't find themselves because why? They don't get that hug from mom, they don't get that hug from dad, or they don't get that I love you, so they look for it somewhere else.
So true.
So I'm enjoying your program, and I just felt I needed to add it that know yourself before you share yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, his contribution brought tears to my eyes because I can imagine people going through that, and I can imagine especially the women taking certain things that they shouldn't, certain forms of abuse or things. They know things are going wrong, and they know their children are aware of it, and they just don't know what to do because they're so proud, or they put a smile on their face and everyone thinks that everything is okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm feeling it for some people. I'm really, really feeling it. And if you are one of those people, please do something about it. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, I really do want to talk a bit about the religion, as we said a bit earlier, and maybe just one more call, as time is really coming on. But I'm a bit subdued now because I think it's a very important thing that we're talking about tonight, and we really, really hope someone out there will do something about it if they're in that situation. Okay, this is Dolor Factor Live. We'll be back quite soon.